AJ's laughing. But
Because he paused for no reason.
I didn't pause for no reason.
Like...
Let me finish the tagline. Welcome to Movie Pain or Pleasure Podcast, the show where we talk about movies sometimes, but today we're not going to talk about movies. Well, kind of, but it's a little bit different. So I'm your co-host Melanie, this is AJ, and today we're doing a very special episode, Anime for People Who Don't Like Anime. I'm a 43-year-old white lady slugging back a glass of Chardonnay, so you'd probably think anime doesn't do that. My stomach just growled. But it can be a good pairing. So, little story. I just have to tell a quick story about my history with anime. So if you're one of those people who want people to just get to the point and get to the list, skip ahead a few minutes. So when I was growing up, anime wasn't really a big thing in the mainstream. Pokemon hadn't hit yet. I grew up in the 80s and it was in high school in the 90s. So when I became aware of anime, I thought it was just for hardcore nerds, even though I have a library science degree. So, and then I uncovered this memory of what made me really annoyed with anime. So when I was in graduate school, when I was 21, 22 years old, I was really into The Who. Their music got me through a rough time in my life. Really rough time. I was just young and going through things. And this was 2002, so there was no social media. So I'd kind of want to learn more about them and talk about them with people on message boards. So sometimes people would upload fan art and stuff, and I noticed a trend of these little ugly, these dorky looking stick figures with big eyes. And so it was all these 15-year-olds drawing Pete Townsend as little anime characters. There was no originality. Nobody had their own style. They were all just doing anime style. So I forever linked that to insufferable dorks.
That is such a weird...
That's what made me hate anime.
That's the most niche thing I've ever heard of.
I know.
Of anything.
So...
Ever.
Yeah.
What if they were doing that Big Eyes thing, though?
No, it wasn't Big Eyes, as in the movie with Christoph Waltz. It was anime. It was teenagers having no original style, just copying anime.
Because teenagers are super original people.
They were damn millennials at the time, so yeah. So anyway, that was a weird memory that I just uncovered. But thanks to AJ, I've really come to like anime, and it would be hypocritical of me not to, because my dream job as a child was to be a Disney animator. So I don't know how I turned my nose up at a whole culture of animated TV shows and movies.
Especially when they're way more like highbrow than fucking Disney.
I know. So I've come to my senses and I've come to like anime. There's still some things I don't like. I don't like some of the tropes. I hate characters who scream and cry for no reason. I think the trope with the ladies with the big boobs is kind of dumb. But I know that's just a thing I have to accept in anime. So whatever. So here's my list of anime for people who don't like anime, and it's mostly been things that AJ has introduced me to. So, do you want to say anything about your relationship with anime?
I don't know. I grew up in the 90s. Who cares?
So what was your first anime that you remember?
I don't know, because I'm not sure which one of them came out first.
Well, which one did you like?
There's Pokemon, there's Monster Rancher, there's Metabots, Cardcaptor Sakura. I watched all that shit. I didn't know they were animes.
What about Digimon?
I also hated... Well, yeah, also Digimon. Digimon's the best one from my childhood. Also, I hated Dragon Ball Z.
And I love some of the movies. I loved the superheroes movie.
I didn't want anything to do with it, because every time I would flip through and there's a random episode, I was just like, okay, there's a big pink guy in a desert, and it's weird. I had a very strange taste as a child. Like, I didn't like dark... gritty, like Gargoyles and Batman. I don't know.
I love it.
I loved X-Men and Spider-Man. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, there you go. I don't know if
I have loved everything you've shown me in Dragon Ball Z.
I didn't get into Dragon Ball Z until I was like 18, and that's Mark's fault.
Okay. So speaking of dark and gritty, that's number one for me is Death Note. And that's a good entree into Death Note. Yes, AJ is wearing an L shirt, and this came up because years ago he said, hey, there's this anime about a book that kills people, and I'm like, tell me more. I wish I had one of those things. So I started watching Death Note on Netflix, and I ended up buying the DVDs, and it's this thriller. There's so much intrigue and mystery. We actually did an early episode in our show on the movie, and by then I was a huge fan of the anime Death Note, so that movie felt the full wrath. I hated it so much. If I turn back to the beginning of this notebook, my first note about Death Note the movie was "fuck this movie." So that shows my passion for the anime.
If you like CSI,
It's so good.
give it a shot. I guess.
Yeah, a guy finds a magic book that kills people and corruption ensues. And so number 2 is another one that AJ introduced me to, entirely different mood than Death Note, and it's Your Lie in April. こらこら友人へ主役を食おうとするんじゃないわよ It's a series. I think it's also on Netflix.
Rip your heart out.
Yeah, young piano prodigy meets another music prodigy, and it's one of those chill animes with just slow building friendships. The music is beautiful. The soundtrack of classical music is amazing.
The first time I saw it, it made me, okay, this not like a spoiler, but you just gotta get into the mood of what this is. The first time I watched it, I got so depressed by then, I just start over immediately so I could watch the happy parts again.
Yeah.
So I'd be happy for a little bit, but then I had to finish it again. So it's a never-ending cycle, but it's so fucking good.
It's so good. I even made a playlist on my iTunes of the classical pieces that they use because they were so beautiful.
Oh yeah,
so
the
moving.
music is awesome. Like I like classical music, but I'm not like a person that seeks out like I'm gonna listen to Bach and Mozart. And yeah, I found out I like Chopin, but that show has so many different types of classical music you can listen to. Even there's one in particular I specifically don't like, but I do find it interesting because it sounds like it's being played wrong every time somebody plays it.
Is it a piano piece?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think I know.
It specifically sounds like it's being played to be off key every piece, which I don't like, but it is interesting.
That one made me realize that I would sell my soul to the devil to be able to play the violin like Itzhak Perlman.
What if it was a fiddle?
I'll whatever. Violin, fiddle. I'll play the solo in The Devil Went Down to Georgia, the devil solo, because that one was better. All right, number 3 is a movie called Your Name.
Please make me a Tokyo boy, my next life!
In our dreams, that girl and I, we're switching places! I wanted to tell you that wherever you are in the world, I swear that I'll find you again, no matter what.
Okay, animes have the weird thing where they can just add a little bit of something like sort of magic, and you just accept it, and then it changes the whole story, but it's like a little starting point, and it makes like really interesting storytelling. So, it's a gender blender. A boy and a girl switch bodies every other day, and they have to write each other notes about how they're fucking up each other's day. And it's really funny and like sweet and adorable.
Mm-hmm.
And it also like crushes you at different points in time.
Oh, yes.
But it's still a feel-good movie by the end, so it's really worthwhile to get through those points.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like Star Wars where they hit you hard and then they take it away. Like, it didn't really happen like that. It's just impactful. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anime doesn't shy away from toying with your emotions. I'll have a good example of that later. But this one is visually beautiful, especially water. The things they do with anime. And then just as you were talking, I realized anime does a lot of magical realism, which you've seen, and I saw a lot of it you see it in Latin American fiction and things like that. But anime does that too. There's one, just quick example, there's one called Weathering with You. And it's
Same
about
creator.
Same creator, same visuals. This girl can control the weather. And that's it. That's just the premise, and you go with it.
Yeah, you take one thing. It's like, over here, the first thing I think of in comparison is horns. There's just, a dude wakes up with horns, and he can control people's, like, innermost evil desires or something. That's it. Go with it.
That's
and
it.
It's not really explained, and that's fine. Because it's just about what one weird thing could make happen in a normal world.
Yes. So, number 4 is a series with a caveat. It's Bleach, season about 1.5.
I do the best I can. And yet, Grookey, I want to see her. 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 I want to see her.
Shut up and go to sleep.
Fine.
Because it gets insufferably long after that. But the premise is this guy finds out that he's a soul reaper. So he helps lost souls get to the next plane of existence. And one of my favorite things about it, there are also these corrupted souls called hollows. I just like that term, hollows, because it's a soul that's angry. And it's kind of like in the movie Soul, where it... and in the movie, the Disney movie or Pixar movie, where it kind of gets corrupted and turns into this big monster. And so they has to kind of kill it, but then also rescue what's left of that soul. So it has some of the tropes I don't like, but I love the main characters. Did not like the live action movie made of it, but I don't think there's any good anime live action movie. But it's a cool premise, and they also have this hilarious little stuffed animal that acts like Joe Pesci. Like, he talks like him. There's a whole episode, a filler episode, of this little lion stuffed animal walking around town just messing with people. He farts on a cat. So he was one of my favorite characters. I really need to go back and try to get through it, but it's so long.
There's no reason that people who like subs would watch this video, but we're dub people mostly, so
yeah.
just so you know, I doubt there's like a Japanese Joe Pesci in the original Japanese version of that. But if you already don't like anime, you're probably not gonna watch fucking subs.
Yeah, that's a whole other debate.
Also, Melanie has a recurring theme of things that deal with death or like heaven and hell type shit.
Yes.
So just as an overall, like, if you're into those things, there's plenty of animes about that.
If there's devil in the title, sign me up.
Devil is a part-timer.
Yes, a coworker was talking about that today. Blue Exorcist, all that stuff. So anyway, number 5 is just a reminder that Americans have anime too. A lot of the DC animated movies, particularly Gotham by Gaslight.
Oh, he's real, all right. That's why you gotta pay us. For protecting you from monsters. Now pay up! I think we might have broken, boys.
Bat! That's a stretch, but they're definitely influenced by anime.
I'm gonna call one out in particular.
Also,
later.
there's a lot of Korean animated American written things, and I wonder if they count as anime. They're basically anime, but anyway.
It's basically anime for adults. It has adult themes. It has language and sexy stuff and
it's
violence.
about people who dress up in superhero costumes like children.
Yeah, so that's really blurring the lines. If you think you don't like anime, but you like DC animated movies and you like comic books also, like, you're kind of edging towards anime.
Is there a particular one that you were going to mention?
I will mention it later. It's on the list.
Okay.
You probably know which one I'm talking about. Number 6 is Ponyo.
By the satanic powers of Ham, you will be silent! The flesh of the meek shall be consumed! Ham!
Just because of the way AJ first explained it to me. And he said, so there's this girl who's kind of half fish. It's basically like the Little Mermaid, and she lives in the ocean, and she goes missing, and her father goes after her, and he's voiced by Liam Neeson. So I'm like, so this is basically anime taken.
Yeah.
Which it's not that kind of thing. It's very sweet. It's very cute. Liam Neeson just happens to voice her father, and he just happens to be looking for her.
Yeah, it's taken Little Mermaid.
Basically, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. I'll just dangle that out there and see if anyone bites like a fish.
And it's also super weird. Sometimes just the strangeness of an anime is enough to get me involved.
Yeah, because that's where I go back and think, I'm just giving props to people for coming up with the weirdest premise, and then like Death Note just stretching it out for so long.
And then making it interesting.
Yeah.
And it there's levels. There's like the one little thing that makes things happen, like boy and girl switch bodies. And then there's just, there's a magical item that kills people. Yeah. And then there's Ponyo, which is like magic fish girl drinks blood and becomes human. And her not trident father chases her. And his giant ocean wife is also in the picture eventually. It's very strange, but it's very adorable. Except for that one moment where Ponyo sort of posts up on a baby.
Yeah, that was weird.
Like headbutts it a little bit.
A very, very nonplussed baby. So that one's a movie. This next one is a series, number 7, and this is one I actually watched in the original Japanese because that's all that was available at the time. One Punch Man.
Take one more step and you're dead. We'll show no mercy.
Even if I wanted to leave, I'm lost and I can't find my way out of here.
Really? You'd leave? Okay, then I will guide you. Take a right, then go up the stairs. Wait there for further instruction.
Right?
Exactly, right.
I guess I'll go left then.
No, wait, not that way.
It is so funny. It's about this guy who's just so bored with life. He can defeat anybody with one punch. And he's fought all these criminals and supervillains, and he's so bored. And so every episode is a new villain trying to challenge him. And it gets harder and harder and harder. But his meh attitude makes it hilarious. And the villain characters are so funny. And he's just so bored with all of it. And that makes it hilarious.
Some animes are good about deconstructing, like, pre-existing American genres. Like, superheroes are not specifically American, but they pretty much started, unless you're going to be a dork and go, like, really, the Greek gods and stories and myths, those were the original superheroes.
Well, we're talking about contemporary
but,
stuff.
yeah, so they play on genres like superheroes. They have interesting takes on westerns and things like that, or sci-fi that aren't strictly American, but they break big in America, and then Japan sort of tweaks a little bit. So if you get tired of your own interesting genre, check out some animes. They might have like a really weird but cool version of what you're interested in, like comic books with One Punch Man or My Hero Academia, which I know Millie doesn't like.
I hate it.
It's fine.
I'm still a lay person when it comes to anime. There's some stuff I just cannot get into.
Anyway, we may continue.
Okay, let's continue. Number 8, let's ruin your life a little bit with a movie called In This Corner of the World. And it came out a couple of years ago, and the Modern Art Museum in the city where we live does an anime fest every August. And it's wonderful. They show about maybe 4 or 5 movies. And they have this guy who's an astrophysicist and a professor who also happens to love anime so much that he's just kind of become a self-made expert. And he always comes and he helps select the movies, and he always does this little talk before the movies, and he's wonderful, and he's so cute, and he's so sweet.
Yeah, he sounds like
He
Butters.
sounds kind of like Butters from South Park, but we look forward to him as much as we do the movies. So this is one we saw at the Modern Art Museum, and it's about a young woman growing, well, she's grown, but just living through World War II. And we don't hear a lot about the Japanese perspective of World War II. Not the Japanese military or the emperor or any of that. We don't hear what just the common people were going through. It wasn't their choice to be in the war. They were just happened to deal with it.
Especially from the point of view of a woman who
Yeah.
doesn't like have stake in the actual war in any way. Like, she's not working as a nurse or for the military. She's not involved with the military stuff at all.
Just kind of a poor farmer family.
And it's if there's any of them on the list, this is the one that's like, you need to see it kind of just to realize what you can experience, like how drastic it is, how I don't know how to put it, how drastic the artwork can be in an anime. This is an entirely like watercolor.
I was
movie,
thinking it looks like a watercolor.
And it looks amazing, but you're gonna be sad.
But that's okay.
Sometimes I don't know why, but it helps. Like, emotionally, to hit you, like sometimes it helps if it's like in animation like that.
Well, that can feel cathartic, and that's something I mentioned before. Is they don't play around with hitting you in all kinds of emotions. I have cried multiple times over anime movies or anime TV shows. The last time we went to see a movie, and that was Ride Your Wave at the Modern, I was just sobbing, like openly sobbing at the end of it.
Yeah, if
So it gets me.
if you're a man with repressed emotions, watch some anime.
Yeah.
Like this,
Especially about grief and loss.
this, or I don't know if it's on that list.
It's on there. The one that just destroys me. There are small candies involved.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm not.
But okay, I won't say that one. But words bubble up like soda pop.
Oh,
That's
yes,
another one.
that one.
Like,
But that one was sweet. That one was like
yeah,
happy
that one.
ending.
I'm saying if you're a person
Yes.
who is sort of repressed with your emotions and you need to feel something,
Watch anime. You will cry.
those are a couple that you just get into.
You will cry happy tears or just wretched grief.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
Next.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's move on to number 9. The original Pokemon.
I'm a Pokemon too!
Glad you remembered. Now get in there!
Jesse has chosen to start the battle with a meow! Nah. Listen, Banana Boy, don't make me mad or I'll have to hurt ya.
Oh, God. Get high and watch Pokemon.
With substances that are legal in your state. So we started watching it just because it was one of those days where like, we've had a shit day, let's watch something dumb. And so he introduced me to the original Pokemon because there have been many iterations, but the one from his childhood. And it is so funny. I mean, I like stuff like SpongeBob SquarePants, but this one's even dumber. It's cute. I like it. And I also love the Pikachu detective movie with Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu for some weird reason.
The only better voice actor would have been Danny DeVito.
Like I said, it can be enjoyed with or without substances, but if there are things that are legal in your corner of the world, it makes Pokemon a little more fun.
It's so weird. It's really weird to go back and watch it, actually, because I start to remember, like, oh, I remember all these things.
I love it, and I'll dance to the little rap that they do at the end. They
Oh,
do have like a
jeez.
rap of like 30 different types of Pokemon.
That's if you're just like, I want to embrace this shit, just throw me into the deep end, but like still on the kid level. Like, there are definitely others that if you're going in on the deep end, it's gonna be way weirder than that. But
Yeah, I started with Death Note.
yeah, that's nothing.
I know that's
You've
still,
never
like, a
watched
way for-
Fully Cooley.
Oh, I've seen like one episode. I can't. It's too weird. We watched one episode. Mm-mm.
Did we?
Yes, we did. I remember the weird animation style.
Oh.
It's too much.
Anyway, maybe that's not the one. Okay, stay away from Fully Cooley if you hate anime.
Yeah. So, we're ready to move on? Okay, you're gonna like this one. Number 10 is Fruits Basket.
I was so happy when you smiled. Your smile breaks through the clouds of gray. Far from the sunny days that lie in sleep.
Okay. So the best anime ever.
Best anime ever. Why? My throat's dry. I have to take
Why?
water. I did not say why. I said why.
We're texting, deal with it. Okay. I don't know what to say about that one. It's just so fucking amazing. But you have to be... Okay.
It's more magical realism.
Yeah, it's another one that is I think they call it shoujo, which it's like the reverse of a harem. It's mainly about one girl who has multiple guys in her life that may not all be romantic leads or anything, but that's what it's about.
Sounds like a good deal to me.
And the cast is amazing, like top to bottom. They're all super like distinctive. And it's got one weird little magic thing. Like, there are bigger stipulations that come along with it, but the setup is one weird magical thing, and that's if these people of this family hug a member of the opposite sex, they turn into their given animal, which is based on their spirit year, Chinese zodiac. It's weird.
Yeah, and I remember when AJ told me the premise, and I thought, I thought, I'll look it up on YouTube. I never did, but I ended up buying, there's 2 versions. There was one in like 2006 or something like that.
2001.
2001, okay.
It is so fucking chill.
That's
mellow.
what you told me. It is so chill. The opening song is so sweet and so chill, and you also kind of want to cry when you listen to it. It's so good.
Okay.
Oh, God.
We love the series that came out the last couple of years.
2019-ish.
It's awesome, but the first season, like the original first season, is so fucking good. It's like they're different moods, but they're both amazing. If you just need to get used to it, do the first one. I would, in fact, even if you plan on watching all of it, I would watch the first one, and then give it a little bit of time, and then watch the new one all the way from the beginning, because it is different, but you're not going to get that mood.
Yeah, when we watched the new version, at first, like, I didn't like it. Maybe it took me 3 or 4 episodes to think I really liked, and then I'm like crying it multiple times, and we're like glued to the TV and just dying to watch the next episode.
This one is like the emotional.
Oh, it gets
like,
so
ups
dark,
and downs,
and oh my god!
And it's really funny, but like in a chill way. Like it's not trying to be super funny. It's just people being sort of quirky.
And it's just sweet and cute. And I think we mentioned this in our summer chill series.
Yes.
Fruits Basket.
Yeah. It will be on every list of anything to do with anime that we ever talk about, I'm sure.
Yes.